Very often we find in the reports of ministries the phase that the planning commission has allocated so much money to this department or to that ministry. Who or what is the planning commission to allot sums of money? It is the government departments that should allot. It is the ministry, the cabinet that should allot sums of money to this or that department. That shows that the planning commission has become another department of government. If it has become another department of government, then why should it not be brought into the general system of government? In the administration, made a regular department of government so that it may be made responsible to this house. Now, it is a body with power but without responsibility. It is time, therefore, that the government made up its mind to make an honest woman out of the financing commission. Then other ministry which attracts criticism is the Ministry of Housing, which is also charged with the solution of the housing problem in the country. In order to solve the immense housing problem of this country indicated by the calculations of the Planning Commission itself, in order to place the housing position of India on a satisfactory footing, as many as 50 million rural houses have to be reconstructed. How can rupees 46 crores go toward the reconstruction of even a small proportion of this large number? I made a suggestion to the consultative committee of the Ministry of Housing that the government should consider the question of drafting and introducing into Parliament a housing law imposing housing obligations upon all employers, governmental or private, from the center down to the villages. I was told of certain practical difficulties which stood in the way. One difficulty pointed out by the ministry was that investment on industrial development would be considerably reduced if so much money was spent on housing. But has the government considered that housing itself is an investment, an economic investment? Satisfactory housing would promote the health and strength of the workers, and the competitive capacity of the workers would be increased if decent housing conditions were provided. Another objections tend to the drafting and introduction of a housing law by the ministry was that it should increase the cost of production, and therefore in a competitive world market, we would not be able to sell our steel goods. This was exactly the excuse raised during the British days that if the wages of the workers were increased, we could not compete in the world market. Therefore, the wages of the workers had to suffer all along.